I was like, bitch, I ain't scared of no blood. But have you guys ever worried that someone was going to throw their pee on you? I had that thought. Once a day might be an exaggeration, but at least a couple times a week. Urine drug screen observations. There were some women that, didn't like me. And I made it pretty clear last episode that I went into these people's homes. I would get to know their families. So I experienced a lot of empathy for the people that I worked with, but also addiction is hard and a terrible disease, and it destroys people and families and relationships and lives. But also, sometimes the stories that come out of those situations when you're the person that's working day to day in the grind can be pretty hilarious. So I'm prefacing all of this to say that the people that I'm referring to, I'm definitely not going to use their names, and I have changed some details. I will just say that before I go into full-blown humor mode, which is how you survive these kinds of jobs. Remember that you can laugh at something and think it's funny in one breath and still acknowledge that the situation is sad and horrible and tragic. But sometimes if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Going back to having urine thrown on me. Let me just kind of set up the scene of how this happened, at least in our office. I'm sure do like a visual cavity search. I still had to be in the room with people. It was kind of a weird thing. I just showed up to work and it's just like, oh, hey, we're going to watch someone go pee. And then you're going to see a lot of people go pee for ever and ever and ever until you don't have this job anymore. So the condom balloon, not my favorite. I have also had different ways that people have tried to make me uncomfortable over the years. Just say, never mind, you can come back a different day. But here's what they didn't know about me. When you try to make me uncomfortable, stubbornness, activation. She intentionally did not wear a tampon. She tried to get out of her drug test by being like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on my period. It's really heavy. I didn't use a tampon today, so I should probably just not do a drug test, right? Held it there longer to catch the drippings to try to make it look like a Jaws scene in that cup, and the test strips soaked it up. It was horrible. I was gagging internally. I don't know that she ever noticed, but again, the stubbornness prevailed the day because I just said, I'm winning this. For you guys that don't work in this field, I just want you to know that at any given time, FedEx or UPS or some mail service is driving around cups of pee in bags. I had one person who tried to scare me into not doing a drug test by pooping. So I will, it's a core memory of this job. I will never forget. She came in. So she was sitting there and she would try to sit and wait me out. So I would be in the bathroom with her sometimes for 15, 20 minutes, just sitting there being like, can we please just stop this game and go pee? Never forget. She was sitting there on the toilet and she was like, I'm going to poop. And just stared at me. And I didn't even say anything to her. I just made hard eye contact and stared back and then just flipped the fan on the wall. And as soon as I did that, boy, she let it fucking rip. Testing positive, but the judge wanted, another drug test before the hearing. So you do what the judge says. And I went and did the drug test in lockup. And I gave her the cup. And all of a sudden I hear this boop noise. And then I look back and she handed me this cup of cold, clear toilet water. And I was like, is this really what we're going to do today? And yes, it was. So I looked at her and I was like, this is not your pee. She was like, yeah, it is. That's my pee. That came out of me. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm really hydrated. That is my pee. Test it. That's mine. That was toilet water. Nah, bitch, that was my pee. It's it's cold. If that is the temperature of urine coming out of your body, you're dead. Bitch, I watched you dunk it in the toilet. That's toilet water. Finally, we peed in the cup. And what, to my surprise, opposite of hydration, her pee was almost brown. She was so dehydrated. Next on the line, I have two that I like to refer to as secondhand lower. First, we have the dunker. Anyway, this guy poops. And based on the smell of his person, I can't imagine that body's excrement was a very pleasant odor. He gathers up a few pieces of toilet paper, reaches around behind his ass, and dunks it in the poop water, and then wipes his butt. What? Smeared around the poop on the rim with the poop water in the bowl. I want you to think about how that was such a normal thing for him that he didn't even fucking flinch to do that in front of another person. And last but not least, we have my other favorite secondhand lore story. That's a sex toy. In the world of faking a drug test as a guy, there's a device called a Wizinator. It's basically a fake penis that you put in your pants along with your real pee-pee, and it has where the nuts would be like a bladder of someone else's urine. It's kind of amazing when you think about it, all of the different like color schemes that they have to make. There's some really creative people out there, and they are making fake dicks. If you're ever having a bad day at work, just think to yourself, at least I'm not making a fake penis. But they have to stay up somehow, right? Like it doesn't just suction cup to your pubic area. So they were usually like a strap on, like an elastic belt, and then it hung from the belt, and then you'd obviously put your pants on. He came in before a court hearing. He ended up getting taken into custody because of some other stuff that had gone on that day. And he got arrested in court, right? So he didn't have time to take off his wiener device. They discovered it when they strip searched him at the jail to book him. So when the guy comes back on this violation, the judge, basically is like, yo, what's up? Because that's how judges talk. He wanted to convince everybody that his girlfriend liked it when he wore that device. It was a sex toy, not a Wizinator. And that's what she'd asked him to do. Just wear like double dick it all day. And speaking as a woman, I know I can't speak for every single one of us in the world, but I can't think of anything less appealing than two penises at once from one person. What kind of weird Chernobyl role play are you trying to convince us that you're doing? Ain't nobody out here like, hey baby, I want you to strap this on so that I can know you're wearing it all day so I can think about that DP tonight. Absolutely not. So kids, if you're listening and you shouldn't be, if you ever need a reason not to do drugs, it's not because Nancy Reagan told you not to. It's because if you get addicted to them, you're going to do silly, silly things. Like try to tell everybody that your girlfriend likes you to wear an extra weenie, and tell people that pee-filled tubes are for arts and crafts, and have to have another person watch you pee. It's not worth it, man. That's not worth it. But there's cups of pee being mailed and shipped all across this country on any given day.